All right, cool. So we're live. So
Yes.
exciting. Hi guys. How are you?
What's up? What's up?
How you
What's up?
doing?
So I'm Ayana Parent and I'm the owner and founder of Be Free Wellness. And I'm really excited today to chat with Josh and Kelvin about
Yes.
the event coming up this weekend. But I will let them introduce themselves. And then, Josh, if you just want to talk a little bit, I thought about just like because the cinema is fairly new for you, how you got into that, and then what your role
Hmm.
in Be Free is, and then Calvin will go about like how you and I know each other and our history, and then you can talk a little bit about the film.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
Terrific.
All
You
right,
want me to
Josh
start?
did it.
Sure. All right. So, Josh Mason. Um, I know many of you may know me as the former First Barnstable State Rep candidate, um, where I initially met Ayana and became involved with Be Free Wellness. I'm really honored to say that I recently was elected president of the board of directors for Be Free Wellness. Um,
Awesome. Yes.
Yay!
All right.
um, and it's just like I said, it's a terrific honor,
Hmm.
and the fact that the board put their confidence behind me to help Iona steer the ship a little bit, and hopefully lead to many future successes for Be Free Wellness and for the community, more importantly.
Yes.
Um, and as my life pertains to the cinema, I don't know, many of you probably don't know my past, but I did. I've always been a lifelong film movie lover. I wanted to be a writer and director growing up. I eventually went to Hofstra University for film school in New
Hmm.
York, and then moved out to Los Angeles and lived there for just shy of 10 years, working in the film and television industry. Um, I actually worked at the Cape Cinema in high school
Hmm.
behind the concession stand for Eric Hart, who's the owner of 36 Years. And he and I were kind of in talks a couple of years ago about possibly taking over the business, and unfortunately, COVID hit and put the kibosh on that, at least temporarily. And as we kind of went into the thaw session out of COVID, we got back, we resumed those conversations, and I came in as the executive director, took over all the programming and such with the cinema, and done as much as I can to help renovate and restore and preserve and all that good stuff. It's an absolute labor of love, and it's great to be back on the Cape doing you know basically what I've grown to love, going
Hmm.
back to my roots with cinema, but also being able to kind of give back to the community and do a lot of the really engaging, difficult, but meaningful work in tying in how we can utilize the benefit of having this beautiful art house cinema,
Hmm.
and not just show feature films or repertory films, but important programming like what we're going to discuss today and what's going to be screened on Sunday. So I'm really proud to bring this type of content in, and really pursue initiatives and causes and organizations that are near and dear to my heart, as well as the community, and help to move in a more progressive direction.
Hmm.
So I think that's the route that's really going to make profound, meaningful change in the community and beyond. So that's kind of my little story in a nutshell.
I love it. I didn't
Yes.
know the film stuff until like sort of recently. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, a little backstory, a little history there, but for another day.
So funny. All right, Calvin, why don't you say a little
Yes.
bit about yourself?
Absolutely, Ayana. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. And Josh, I'm looking forward to checking out the cinema and just watching the film with everyone in the community. Everyone's going to show up on Sunday. A little bit about myself. Again, my name is Kelvin Young. I'm a certified sound healer, which have opportunities to offer sound healing sessions to different people from all walks of life throughout the United States. And actually, through Zoom, it made it so I'm able to connect with people internationally, which is pretty cool. Meeting different people from all walks of life, and I've had an opportunity to connect with Ayana. I would say maybe a year ago.
I
I would
think
say
it's
maybe
almost
even
the isn't
more.
that wild?
Yeah, from a mutual friend in Boston, and then she connected us, and we just connected right away. I remember the Zoom call, our first connection,
And
and
I
we
was
were
like,
just
and now we're best
like,
friends.
We just hit it off, and she invited me to come to her studio, Be Free Wellness, and I was offering sound healing sessions, and I'm actually offering a sound healing session this Sunday.
Oh, right before the film. That's right.
Yes, at 11 a.m. at Be Free Wellness. So feel free to check it out if you're in the Cape Cod area. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to the film and really screening the film at Josh Cinema. And I'm excited to be there and to really connect with all of you that's going to show up. And how the film started was it was a few years ago. Hope Payson, she came to us, and we had a little retreat at her home, in the northwest section of Connecticut.
Wait, now
And
who's Hope? I know who she is, but who?
yes, Hope Patience. She's the producer of the film, and she's also a clinical social worker as well too. And she wanted to get people together and to talk about. She specialized in trauma work, and she wanted to get people that have experiences with addiction and now are living in recovery or sobriety to come together and talk about the root causes of addiction. And from my own personal and professional experience and Hope's experience, we understand that how trauma plays a significant part in addiction. And we got 6 people from different walks of life come together, and we kind of process our emotions and feelings and shared our experience and told our story, and Hope and others, she had other trained therapists in the space as well too, that we really created a safe container for us to really open up those wounds, so to speak, and really kind of go in and really dissect our experiences, and how Hope put it together is she had this tree that she put together, and she made leaves for all of us, and we kind of just really talked about our experiences with trauma and how at the root of our experience with addictions was the emotional distress that we experienced in our lives. It was the unprocessed trauma that we endured. Many of us endured from childhood, from adolescence, adulthood, but also the people of color that was in the space. We also talked about our intergenerational ancestral trauma and the racial trauma that we experienced, and just the trauma of my ancestors coming from the western parts of Africa to the Caribbeans to the Carolinas. Just that experience alone was very traumatic. Never mind on top of the racist behavior and just the slavery, the Jim Crow laws, all those things that we experience, how this trauma has been passed down from generation to generation to generation to me, because I believe those traumas live in our bodies. So we talked about that and how toxic chronic stress is also at the root of addiction as well too. And we had this this retreat. Then she followed all 6 of us at our locations. It really created a beautiful story, and just to talk about those past experiences, but also recovery as well too. From the roots, but also doing the work. What blossom was recovery. What blossom for me was sound healing. What blossom for many other people that you have opportunity to witness and experience on Sunday during the film. So I hope all of y'all get a chance to kind of really come out and just really not only support Be Free, and really, because this is a fundraiser event, but also understand addiction. And from our experience that we learned working with Hope is that addiction is a human experience, not a human identity. Because behind the so-called addict, behind the so-called alcoholic is a human being that experienced a significant amount of trauma, emotional distress, and toxic chronic stress, and just looking for a sense of relief from that distress. And it's a public health issue, but it's important that we use person-centered language to describe these experiences, because stigma keeps people from seeking the support, getting the treatment, getting the doing the inner work they need to do in order to heal and find freedom from alcohol and other drugs. So therefore, we kind of touch on all those aspects of the root causes, and we're uprooting addiction and understand and letting people know there's another side to addiction, which is recovery. And there's over 25 million people that's in sustained recovery in the United States alone. And I'm so grateful to be one of them. And I hope you get a chance to experience the film this Sunday.
What a perfect plug. I'm like, can you say anything else? Oh my god. Well, the idea of the tree, so I haven't seen the film, so I'm like so excited. But the idea of the tree and like the uprooting, and I can just see like there's 6 of you in the film, yeah, with the that are setting your stories. I can just see like how it would follow, and then like you could see just like the vision of the branches and the trees of people growing into their humanness, right? Because I feel like if you take out the addiction, right, we are humans, like you said, we are people, but sometimes it doesn't look like that when it's masked by all this other stuff.
That's right.
And that's so cool. And I just love, obviously, that like, so the ground too, like the idea of like trauma being the gateway as it is.
Yeah.
And I know that people logically understand it, but I have a sense that this film is really going to like lay that out in a way where you can't not see it, right? Because it's like, it's so hard to make excuses. And well, if this person just did this or this person just did that, or their mom was, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff. But if they really look at sort of like the soil that made that, and I'm so glad you brought up the historical stuff around like racism, because that's one thing that Be Free really prides itself on in terms of helping the BIPOC community. And I know that Josh and I really aligned in that way, which is part of why I brought him on to Be Free, not all the political stuff, but no, just kidding. But because of his social justice lens, shall we say, that really like we're really doing a lot for the community around which people don't know, you know, so they know that we have a fitness studio and stuff, but that we really treat trauma around addiction, but we also really treat trauma around racial trauma, which you were talking about in terms of like ancestral, generational. It goes back in our bodies to slavery, and that happens with white bodies too, right? It goes all the way back to, you know, history, and it all lives in us. And addiction can go both ways, right? So trauma, it's all interrelated and interconnected. How did Hope find all of you?
That's a good, she put it out there, you know, and Connecticut is like this big, so, you know, the word just went out and it broadcast all throughout Connecticut. And, you know, and actually, a therapist reached out to me and said, you know, Hope Payson, you know, she's looking for participants that's in recovery to share their story. And I reached out to Hope, and, you know, we connected, and Hope, you know, invited me. She selected me to be a part of the film, which I'm totally grateful for. And to be, you know, a part of the film with the 5 other people that's featured in the film, and with Dr. Gabor Mate, you know, and, you know, he's an expert on trauma and addiction recovery, and I really appreciate his experience and how he views these human experiences that we go through that we label as addiction. So being part of the film with him and many others that's in it, I'm just honored, and I really am grateful to Hope for being selected to be a part of this film.
That's great, because I was wondering, like it's very brave. Like it's very brave to be, I mean, to tell your story. Like I remember when I first getting sober and have to like say it in a meeting, that was awkward. Like or hard. That's awkward. It's just hard. Now I'm like, I tell anyone like on the street, hey, I'm in recovery, but I get celebrated, That was a path. That was totally a path. And I can't imagine like, you know, writing my book was something, right? Like that was a big thing. And then but I remember when it came out and I was like, can I retract that?
Yes, you know.
I can just put on film. It's like it's got to be the, you know. It's also, you must have that feeling of like, whoa, that's a. So I just wanted. My point was to commend you for being so brave, and the other people.
Thank you.
So
and that's a very valid point, and thank you for recognizing that, because when I first seen the rough draft, I was like, holy beep. You know what I mean? I was like, it's out there. You know what I mean? And I kind of put it out there. You know, and I was like, whoa, it did break up some emotions and feelings within me watching it, you know, when sharing that level of vulnerability, you know. But one of the things I've learned on my journey is so important for us to feel before we heal, and have an opportunity to feel all those raw human emotions, even after we filmed it, you know, and just what's coming up for me and why it's coming up for me, and just having tools today to help me process those raw human emotions in a healthy way instead of reaching out for substances or behaviors that maybe give me a temporary sense of relief from the stress. But for me, alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, a prescription opiate, it caused more long-lasting negative consequences at the end. So I'm still gonna get traumatized. I'm still gonna get stressed out. I'm still gonna get overwhelmed. And I believe that's part of the human experience as well too. But now I have supports in place. I have therapy. I have sound healing. I have deep breathing exercises. I have friends, supportive friends. I have a community. To support me. Even being part of TLC. Tender.
Tender
the
Loving
luckiest
Care.
club.
I knew it. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Everyone's like,
Tender
what's
Loving
TLC?
Care.
Is it Tender Loving Care? I'm like, I mean, it kind of is.
It is though, right? And thank you so much, Ayana, for introducing me to learn and allow me to be a part of TLC, and it's a sobriety support community, international community where having people in my life that's in recovery or in sobriety themselves to support one another, because we believe in the power of connection in recovery. We believe that connection, that authentic human connection, or even connection for our four-legged friends, is the cure for feelings of isolation, loneliness, depression, and any type of other emotional distresses that we experience in our lives. So I'm so grateful for my community today, and people in my life and tools I can utilize to deal with the distress when it comes up.
Yeah. Josh, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to chime in here with anything you wanted to say, either about yourself, your personal journey, or be free, or just plug Sunday.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I've said this to you, Ayana, is just how commendable it is, obviously what you're doing and what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You put the pen to the paper and you put your story out there just as much as Kelvin. He put his on celluloid. And now your stories are memorialized. They're archival material, and you kind of can't take that back now, right?
Yeah.
What's great about that is you can kind of use that against yourself, right? Because it's like evidence that these things have happened. This is real. This is my life. And I've sort of recorded that in history. It's not just a part of my mind, but everybody is aware. So it takes a lot of courage to do that. And again, I have a lot of respect for both of you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
Absolutely. I myself, I've never been, hampered down by any sort of substance abuse or substance use myself. I do have people in my family. I have friends who have coped with various ailments and conditions and things. I myself have grappled with, mental wellness, mental health issues in my past. But you find a way to navigate through. To your point,
yes.
Be it therapy, great support system with friends and family, good diet, exercise.
Yes.
You find outlets and healthy ways to sort of tackle and keep these things at bay. But at the same time, you don't try to repress them, because then they just come back stronger.
That's right.
You need to face it. You need to face it head on, no matter how difficult that is or how challenging it is. And just know that there's enough love and support around you and resources. And especially now with this organization that Ayana has built from the ground up, the work you're doing, Kelvin, and countless other people around this world that frankly have come out of the darkness, and they want to share their story, and they want to, it's a level of camaraderie and brotherhood and sisterhood.
That's
and
right.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. So, I love being a part of this, and the fact that we've all been through a struggle, I think we can all celebrate that together, because we can sort of find strength in each other's differences, right? And that's kind of what makes all of this special. But I'm truly looking forward to screening this film on Sunday, and listening to what you have to say and engaging with any of the audience that shows up and has questions. And I'm sure there will be a lot of questions and some back and forth. But I think it's an important evening. And if you're watching this and you're listening to this, this is just a taster of what's to come, because
teaser.
So it's so important. And I encourage everyone really to turn out and be a part of this, because even if you're not struggling or dealing with something, y'all know someone that is.
That's right.
Show up for them, even if it's not for yourself. That's what I have to say.
That's right.
Josh is, I love it. He turns into a politician. Show up. Yes, show up.
I'm not running for anything this year.
I'm gonna get it there. He's too proper. He's not really funny, but language. I know. So if people are curious about, so the tickets are $30. It is this Sunday at the Dennis Cinema, and it's at 4 p.m. And so we'll have the screening, and then Calvin and I will do a panel discussion. You can ask him any questions about the film. But I would also, as Josh, as you said, encourage people to come, that are in recovery, but also people that have people in their lives that are struggling with recovery, because Calvin and I have been there, and part of our work as people in recovery is to really give it back. The service piece I really, really love. And it feeds us and it helps us to stay healthy. So the more that we can give our experience and the story to people that are struggling, I know there's a lot of parents out there. Because I get the calls like on a daily basis of how I don't, my kid's been into rehab 20 times and I'm at my wits end. I don't know what else to do. And oftentimes I will say that they'll bring them to Be Free, and Be Free does make the difference. An incredible statistic is we've been a nonprofit for a year, and we've had 2 people relapse, and that's out of our recovery program. We have 6 programs total. And so that's our largest program is the recovery program. But that is a really good stat. And but both of them have stayed involved, which is even more impressive. So oftentimes when people in addiction relapse, they're just gone for a really long time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And because we've created this community, they've been able to come back and get the love that they need and the support, because that's our whole thing, is that we don't judge you.
That's right.
So they know they can come back. So all of this is being put in writing for all you grant people out there that really want to toss us some money and just heard that. I mean, it's an incredible statistic. I will toot my own horn, because we are in the business of saving lives, and that information is really important for people to know. So people might not know that. And I will say the reason why it works is because we have coaches that are trained in many different avenues and in many different ways, but the ones that work with people in recovery is because they're trained in trauma sensitive ways of working with people, but also in wellness ways. So like anyone that comes to us gets Reiki, they get tapping, they go to restorative yoga, they move, and then they process with their coach. How's it going? And then the coach really supports them through that. And that's the avenue to wellness, because really, if we're talking about how to help addiction, like you said, it's really trauma. We got to work with the trauma. We got to start with the trauma and add the holistic elements in that aren't seen anywhere else, which is why Be Free works.
So true. One of the things I learned about recovery is about progression, not perfection, and just really, and just coming back. You may have setbacks, that's part of life, and relapse may be a part of your story in recovery, that happens, but it's so important that we address the root, we get to those root issues, and having coaches at Be Free to really help you to address the root causes and having holistic practices. It's so important that we kind of talk about the issues, but really focus on solutions. And these holistic modalities that Be Free and other practitioners use to help us to focus on the solutions, to really address the root, and I really believe in all chronic health conditions, including addictions, it's so important that we address the root causes of those experiences. And once I was able to address the root causes and really see it for what it is, because I was in this very vicious cycle of addiction. I didn't notice the trauma. I didn't notice when I thought of the word trauma, we didn't use the word trauma in my household growing up. And we didn't talk about mental health issues, and I suffered in silence for many, many years, and I suppressed those deep-rooted pains that I felt for a very, very long time. Then I started reaching for something outside of myself to help alleviate that pain, because in our society we seek pleasure and avoid avoiding pain, and we want that instant gratification. And how alcohol and other drugs, it gives people that sense of instant gratification, that temporary sense of relief, but for many others, it does cause that negative, long-lasting consequences. And once we understand why I'm reaching for something outside of myself in the first place, and have tools, holistic practices to address that and see it for what it is, and have therapy, have practices, have modalities, have support, have community to really, support me on my healing journey of recovery. That's healing to me. That's healing for getting to point A to point B in a supportive community and having tools to do that. And that's what Be Free is all about. That's the work that I do is all about, and many other holistic practitioners that's working in the field of recovery, to really let people know that recovery is a reality for many, many people. But we have to address the root. We have to address the underlying issues that happens in our lives.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Sunday.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember Abby, but she was just shouting out your sound bath is highly recommended. It's magic.
Oh, thank you, Abby. Thank you. I hope you coming Sunday.
Yeah, I'll just say if whoever's interested in coming Sunday, you can go onto capecinema.com and purchase pre-sale tickets and get more information on our website. And we'll also have plenty of tickets available at the door if you choose not to pre-purchase them.
Yes, but pre-purchase, it just helps us to know.
Absolutely. And just know that every ticket that's purchased is an investment in a life.
Yes, great way to say it. Totally. Yes, we're all day long. I've been writing and to funders being like, we are in the business of saving lives. So
that's
absolutely,
right.
absolutely.
That's what we're doing. And Sunday. So if you're also around and want to come to Calvin Sound Healing, it'll be at the Harwich studio. It's confusing because we have 2 studios now, and we announced that we're moving. Right now, everyone's is it Harwich or Hyannis? So Hyannis will be open in May, so everything is still in Harwich until May.
Dennis is next to Harwich, so it's very convenient.
Everything will be fine.
Exactly.
But so last I checked, it was pretty full. So there's like about 5 spots maybe left. So people should really register tonight for Sunday. For both. Register tonight.
For both, yeah.
Both. When you go to do the sound bath, and just go to do spend the whole day with us. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Be a different person by Monday. Yep.
Yes, we'll do all those ones. Oh my gosh, well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for all the work that you do.
Yeah, Josh, and thanks for hosting. And Calvin, thanks for being in the film and for just
honored
part of Be Free. And there's an office in Hyannis when you decide to move to the Cape.
Hint. Hyannis, you're gonna get me out there too. I know it. She's that convincing.
We'll put you right next to my corner office.
Oh, perfect.
It overlooks Main Street. Yeah.
I'm really good at manifesting these days. Watch out.
I've been feeling I'm going to be there like real soon, like within a year.
Could be sooner. I don't know.
Let's see what happens on Sunday.
That's right. That's right.
Where are my car keys? I don't.
Oh my God, I did that to my friend once. It was bad.
You might have Massachusetts license plates on your car. You never know.
I did that with my friend Damon. He moved, and I was like so mad. And I was like, "You have to come." He's like a wonderful person and just psychologist, also a Black man. And I straight up took his keys.
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't want you to. I'm just not having it.
Oh man.
I know. So watch out.
I love it.
I won't steal your keys, but now I might do it just to be funny.
I know, right? Where are my keys? I just had it like 2 seconds ago. They were right here like 2 seconds ago.
Oh my gosh. All right, you guys. Well, we will see you Sunday at the studio in the morning at 11, and then at the dentist cinema at 4 for the film. So thanks everybody. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Bye.
Everyone, see you Sunday.
See you Sunday.